going to. I have been judged all my life. More by Americans than anybody else. And I'm an American. I have been judged by women and men, but probably more so by women growing up, but men too. So I've decided after 59 years to call it like I see it. What they call professional attire. What they call mature professional clothing. I don't wear a suit and tie. I don't want to wear a suit and tie. No interest in that. Michael doesn't like that stuff. It's not my thing. So I wanted to talk about women's fashions in America, because white women, I'm not talking about the women on my channel that are my regulars. I'm not talking about them. But when I was in Hong Kong, I noticed something when I went over there. Asian women dress very pretty. They don't get their clothes out of the same grab bag that American women buy their yucky styles at. Here. I have a friend in Ohio, and I want to dedicate this video to him because he is the one that coined the term dress barn style clothing. And when he said that, I laughed. I said, oh my gosh. If you want to look at women's fashion and how ghastly it is, look at dress barn clothing. We're going to show some pictures. The next group I want to show you is the LL Bean crowd, which is horrible. And I then want to show you the news media of women clothing. I mean, it is scary, ghastly, ugly. It screams no passion. It screams cookie cutter. And I've been so judged by those kinds of women. I go to church today. I swear, all the women in our church wear the baggy dress barn clothes, dress barn dresses, dress barn thing, dress barn music, dress barn attitudes. There's no passion to Southern women. I'm sorry. I've been down here long enough, and there is zero passion in most of these Southern gals. Zero. It doesn't matter if they're Christians. It doesn't matter if they're conservatives. It doesn't matter if they're Democrats. There's zero passion in the women in the South. They're fat and sassy. They laugh at stupid things. They put fake blonde hair highlights in their hair, and they're just gross. And I came that close this morning to walking out of church. But I thank God that my pastor was preaching on all 8 cylinders, and that is the only reason I go. A lot of those people in that church, including some of the men, are just butts. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how our Christian culture in America is just bought and owned by a mentality. We're not seeing the transformation. And I was thinking this morning, and I wrote copious notes during the worship time. And I've noticed that I have a lot of struggles. I am not the signature edition, got it together Christian man. I'm not. Never was. I got saved in my senior year. I've sinned a lot. And you look at the disciples of Jesus, and you look at John was very close to Jesus. He was constantly leaning, the Bible says, leaning against his breast. Now, in our culture, you think of a grown man leaning against the breast of another, everybody thinks fag alert, gay. And it's true. Who's going to be leaning against the breast of another man unless they're homosexual? But John had a relationship with Jesus that was not physical. Okay? Homosexuals tried to claim that David and, was it Jonathan, had a homosexual relationship. Now, I don't believe that. But I'm going to say something. I talked very openly this morning about my struggle with my own sexualness. It's on turbo all the time. And yes, people could look at my life and say, you are not a good example of a perfect, holy, and righteous Christian. You are 100% right. But I'm not going to stop talking about that book. I'm not going to stop talking about God, because that's the weapon that they use. The world is going to judge us. Christians are going to judge us. Everybody's going to judge us. So Michael has to say, okay, what set of dash gauges do you use to make sense of things? Of the Bible, my experiences, God working in my life. But I want to talk about something, because I have been scarred, I have been hurt, I have been abused at the hands of a lot of women, emotionally, spiritually. They still do it, still. I have a mother that adopted me. She has not to this day ever said, I'm sorry for the horrible things she did. And I'm not going to unpack all that. I've talked about that numerous times on my channel. And there was a discussion on my channel this morning when I went live, and some of the guys said, man, women just beat up on men whenever we try to say anything about them. And I agree. Women, whether you like it or not, we need to be able to say what we need to say. Even though I don't have a wife, I'm the head of this house. And therefore, I'm the head of this channel. And if you can't handle the heat, get out of my kitchen. Okay? Because I love women, but women in America need some big truth thundering people to tell them the truth, because they're not exposing themselves to it. Women have judged me all my days. They made fun of me for my glasses. They made fun of me for everything. Black women out here when I moved here, well, if you would wear the right clothes and if you would cut your hair. And I said, okay, this is coming from you that's 350 pounds and you got steel wool under your armpits with white chunks of deodorant stuck under there, and you're going to tell me how to get a woman. That's rich. That's really rich. I wouldn't date you or most of these women down here in Augusta because they are just grody. Then I know that's not nice, but you have to understand what I went through. I was maligned and teased and laughed at all my days and still am. And it even happened this morning in church. Not by a woman, but by a curmudgeon, grumpy man that he and his wife are not doing well together. She wears dress barn clothes. He's curmudgeon and talking about plastics. I'm like, you know what? Pastor, I want to sit down and talk to you, and I'll tell you why this church isn't going to grow. To get these kind of people out of here. Let me say something before I get going on my attack. I know I'm not the standard. I'm not the definition of normal. I know that most American men are not like me at all. Not like me at all. I hope I didn't just interrupt the stream. I had a phone call come in. If the stream is still going, please give me a thumbs up, because I have chat off, if you can still hear me. Because I want to get on this. This is very, very important to me. And it needs to be discussed. But women in America, they really are judgmental about us men. And they have put me down for my style, for my way. I don't claim to dress for success. But I'm going to say this. I'm comfortable with me. And many of the women, when I say what I'm about to say, well, I'm comfortable with it. Cool. Rock your world out, dress barn style. Because I've been so judged by women and I went overseas and I had to find out that the American toxicity that women have become in this culture has been exported around the globe. And it has had an effect negatively on women on a global level. When I was in China and I'm seeing jet black Chinese hair, women dyeing their hair blonde, goo-gopping the makeup on, dressing and trying to be like an American white woman. I'm like, why are you doing that? Because everybody looks at them. I said, honey, don't be like that. Please, for the love of God, do not deny your Chineseness, your beautiful features and your black hair. Do not emulate American women. Women to this day are extremely critical and judgmental of me. On any level, I go into have to deal with anybody, whether it's an HR lady or anybody, just to ask a simple question. You get that attitude, you get that everything that tells you that you are not worth a dime to them. Let's begin. Because women have judged me, I feel qualified to bring this out. And it needs to. We're going to start with this. This is a dress barn fashion. Okay, the woman's overweight. I don't know who she is. A couple things clearly wrong with this. She's got frosting in her hair. She doesn't have enough discipline to discipline herself and get that weight under control. And I realize that there are some exceptions of people who struggle with that. I'm not putting them down. But when you wear an outfit like that, that does not do you justice. That really, really, really makes you look even worse. It looks like it's tight in all the wrong places. It accentuates and highlights and underscores your obesity. It does not do you justice. Stripes and obesity do not go together, ladies. Let's move on. School teachers would wear this. That looks like something out of when I was a kid, McCall's, where you cut it out and you sew the dress. This is as ugly as you can get. No passion, nothing sexy about it. That dress says, I'm a boring housewife, or I'm a boring mother, or I'm a boring school teacher. It just shouts. Just my take on it. This is a fashion disaster. I cannot believe this. There's nothing pretty about the fake dangly earrings. Why do Western women think that this is cute? Why? I mean, that's gross. So let's move along. This is really sad. Again, obesity, and you're going to wear that. That there is one of the most unflattering outfits you could possibly wear. And this is what you see in the South with the heavy women wearing stuff like that. And what really kills me is a lot of them have an attitude. They'll talk to men like me in a condescending, they'll look at me with that side judgmentalism, and you just look at that and go, you really think you're the Taj Mahal, huh? Women, when you got obesity, that's not a good combo. That's not going to help you. That doesn't make you look better. That just does not lend itself to anything positive. This here is another fine example of dress barn. That almost reminds me of Cruella in 101 Dalmatians, the bottom part of that. Or maybe it's the court jester upside down. What happened to that? Roll that beautiful bean footage while I eat my potatoes and check that out. That is gross. Woman's got lunch lady arms already. You see the bat wings, the chicken wings going on. You got a dress like that. Then we got the cleavage hanging out. That is not flattering to her. Not at all. This is Ella Bean's offering to the world. I've never understood vests. Now I have a denim green vest. I got a Hot Topic for cheap. And it's beautiful. It's like almost like a motorcycle jacket. But this, I see men and women wearing these, and it looks like a trash bag that they cut 2 holes in. That's a hefty bag. Absolutely nasty. This is a further example. The woman's kind of cute, except her face, you can tell even with a black woman, they poured the gloss all over her face. And she's got that look. It doesn't do her justice. Why do women wear a vest? It's cold out. We're going to wear a vest so we can sew our sweater. I've never understood that. Ella Bean is just lands in fashion disaster faux pas number 9. This is what they're doing for LL Bean for men. I'm sorry, that looks 100% gay. We got a Sorel boot in the print on the sweater. And we got some, I'm not sure what that is, the London fog trench coat with the Russian style hat. Wow, I'd be embarrassed to walk around in that getup. I'd be more embarrassed to walk around in that getup right there than my little frilly ladies top. Just saying. Just saying. And this, I am so sick of seeing these. That should be against the law in the United States. People should be sent to prison for that. Christmas sweaters. And I notice every woman that wears those kind of sweaters is plastique. Completely artificial, completely passionless, completely faker than a $3 bill. Boring, boring, boring. Women wear those. Women that think that that's cutesy. And this. Oh boy, she looks like a bag of fun. A Christmas sweater that lights up. And it's got a stuffed squirrel attached to the shoulder. Isn't that cute? Doesn't that just make you want to date her? How many men want to go out with that? I want you to zero in a little bit, okay? Zero in. I bet you that woman has zero substance. She obviously doesn't have passion. She fell out of the same bag of cookies that everybody else fell out of. I mean, really? Yuck. Gross. And then let's talk about my favorite people, news broadcasters in America. Wow, what happened here? The body looks good. The outfit? Her pelvis, her stomach area is pooched out. Her boobs are shoved in there. And again, it looks like a hefty bag that was cut out in all the wrong places. She's got the hair parted in the middle. And really analyzing that, I don't see a lot of passion and natural, innate, sensual sexiness. That is what people wear when they want to be at the front desk of a news agency. Boring. And then there's this. Another ugly outfit. The AOC look. the hands folded, the plastic acting look, the little peekaboo right here in the middle. Ack, 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 ack. Gross. This one coming up, folks, looks like something that was put together in arts and crafts in kindergarten class. Check this out. What the hell happened here? I mean, that might look good on her if you take, is this a breakaway outfit where the yellowy white, you can pop out and then you're left with the blue? That might be good if you're into Penthouse and Playboy, if you take the white away and it shows her stuff and shows her navel with the little belt thing. That might be fun on the porn level. But look at the outfit. Oh my gosh. These are the people that bring your evening news, man. How do you take these people seriously? That's considered professional. Professional. Isn't that beautiful? No, not at all. I want you to really look at that. Isn't that just a ghastly outfit? I'm going to tell you something that I've learned by my own experiences. I look better in some of the feminine clothing I bought than that woman does in that right there. She's okay looking. She's no 10. But what is going on? Buttermilk colored two-tone outfit. There's nothing that screams passionate, different, unique, free spirit. It's carbon copy of the same kind of women that dominate this American landscape. They're everywhere, boring, passionless. And she probably spent, I'll bet you she probably spent $1,500, $2,000 for that nasty thing. I'll bet you she paid way too much money for that outfit. Who's the fashion designer? I want to call him and say he's fired. Anybody with me on that? Newscasters, broadcasters, oh my gosh, here's another beautiful top. Yuck. And her hair is definitely not her natural color. And she got one of them little crimping irons. Looks like middle school disaster that never grew up. She's got a little microphone clipped in here. What a beautiful shirt. Not. Why do people who work for the front desk dress like that? Let's get some lights on this. I believe I'm hitting on all 8 cylinders. These are the kind of women that judge me. This is the society that's judged me and what I do. So I thought, well, let's critique them. Let's analyze them. Here's another horrible outfit. She could be a traffic cone. She could be a Star Wars add-in, you know, at the canteen, the disco. That is a hideous outfit. It doesn't flatter her. She's cute. She's a cute black woman, but that outfit does not do her justice. Orange is a no-go. Absolute no-go. This here, you're going to laugh when you see the title in here. Most beautiful female Fox News anchor at all time. Look at that lovely, lovely neon green jacket. Zero in on those eyebrows. Not her natural hair color. The fake blonde. Ugly blazer jacket. Got a little teeny bit of cleavage showing. Her hair looks like it's been fried. Look down towards the ends. And she's not the prettiest one ever. None of them are. They're manufactured. They're like the Pillsbury cookie dough that comes in the frozen freezer section that you rip open the top and you slice it up and put them on the cookie sheet, and that's what you get. Same thing every time. I wouldn't want to date these women. I wouldn't want to be married to them because I can't imagine that we would even get along on any level at all. Not just because of the income disparity between her and me, but I don't believe she'd like a house like this. I don't believe that she'd like my world, which is real, where I like old things and unique stuff. I can't imagine that being a fit for me at all. Oh, yes. And then there's this. Blasted the foundation all over her face. A lot of white women do this. A lot. We got some big chests going on there, and we got this baggy outfit with these fold-over folds of fabric. What happened to American style when it comes to women? Why can I go to the Philippines and I can see Filipinas wearing pretty outfits? Pretty. China. Indonesia. Why is it that I can go overseas, and we're not talking rich, we're talking third world countries dress better than American corporate women? Why is that? Why is that? That's gross. That is an unbecoming outfit for her. You can tell she's a pretty big woman. That does not do her justice at all. And brown? I mean, I expect to see brown on a UPS truck driver, but that? It needs to say in yellow, UPS, right here. Right there. Ah. And then there's this. Another cut out a trash bag with the big neckline and threw it on. Beautiful, right? I can guarantee you one thing, that's not a real hair, folks. That is a wig. Got plenty of makeup plastered on there. They plastered on the face, the neck, and what's showing here. Why are broadcaster women the most boringest, ugliest fashion disasters, and we got to look at them? I don't watch the news. I gave up. I watch YouTube before I watch that. They all talk the same. They all sound the same. They all contrive, scripted, reading the teleprompter, and you can't even dress. And it makes sense that they have no passion. They can just follow the teleprompter. And they all fell out of the same factory bag. Every one of them. And they go to journal school to learn how to repeat what their boss wants them to say on the media. And everything is fake. I see them smiling more and more when they're reporting a tragedy. Yes, that's right. There was a very bad traffic accident yesterday. And you're grinning about it. Do you know why Michael is not professional? Is anybody registering that yet? Look behind me. That's what they define as professional. Really. Faking it. Unbelievable. Let's move on. That is gross. Orange does not look good on a woman. Now let's talk about The View. Oh, yes. Whoopi Goldberg is her own brand of Jabba the Hutt. And none of her fashions are pretty. And this one here, wow, she looks like she might be married to Darth Vader. Got that big V thing like the 70s or 80s going on, like CC Catch. She's dyed her hair and done I don't know what to it. She's not flattering. Whoopi lost her looks a long time ago. And her outfits are just tacky. She just needs to throw a giant comforter over her, cut a neck hole in it, tie it together, and call it good. So, this is America's finest TV show, The View. Look at these outfits. Aren't they exciting? Aren't those just zoom, zoom, zoom fun? Yuck. All of them. All of them. I don't think any of these women are pretty personally. Never have. Never will. Look at this lineup. Get on the fashion disaster choo-choo. Woo, woo. Oh yeah, girls, we rocking it. Bye, train. Bye-bye. 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 A polka dotted outfit? Really? And what are they all doing here? They literally got their breasts pushed into the back of each other. They feeling good? I don't like The View. I hate the show. It's ridiculous. It's not The View, it is A View, and it's toilet at best. Wow. It was snowing, and all of a sudden the sun's coming out. Love that, because it was cold today. South has the bipolar express coming through. And people will hear me, they don't know who I am, and they'll say, wow, you're really judgmental, you're really mean. None of them ever were there to say that with all the people that were horrible to me. And so it is with most males in our society. We carry our scars because we're expected to do it. I didn't go to the battlefield. I wasn't in the military. I didn't serve my country. No. I've just been a wounded American at the hands of this kind of stuff. Do I get a Purple Heart for that? Do I get a Medal of Honor? Do I get a Disabled American Vet for that? Nope, never will. And I laugh when people say professional. And you go through the parade and the kaleidoscope of this god-awful clothing. This one wins first place for a stuck-up narcissist who actually thinks that that's cute. That's ugly. That is really ghastly. That wins first place out of all the photos I showed you for being one of the worst outfits ever. And you're supposed to take her seriously. I don't care what this world thinks of me. I like being a free spirit. I like being a little bit rogue. You think I'd get a date with that? You think that that would work? I don't. That woman lives in a fake makeup bag world. No thanks. I'll pass. Same with this one. The whole look is plastic. That is not a genuine smile. That is a scripted smile. The hands, the way she does everything is scripted. Good evening, everybody. We have a sad news story to tell you today. Oh, shit. I am very critical of the media because they're jackasses. They've been twisting and everything. And the media is just, Americans become so accustomed to watching it that most people don't see what I see. They think there's nothing wrong with this. This is hideous. This is absolutely hideous. And this. We have to suffer in December when millions of American women roll out these beauties. This is silly. Let's buy a sweater with a stuffed squirrel on the side. That woman looks 100% fake, plastic, artificial. How'd you like to go on a cruise with her? How'd you like to have a plane crash on an island where there's you and her, the only survivors, and you got to survive, and that's the woman you got to protect. You're going to have to do everything, men. Everything. That woman won't have a clue. I have to say this. 59 years of my life, this society has been very, very hard on me. And people come on my channel and say, wow, this guy's so judgmental. Just you saying that means you're judging. You know that, right? So allow me to tell you that when you've been through the stuff I've been through, I am cynical, I am critical, I can be very sarcastic, I could be an ass if I needed to be, because I've been trained by America. I didn't go to school for that. I get in my truck. I'm trained by a-hole drivers. I go to work. I'm trained by a-hole coworkers, a-hole managers. And I'm not talking about my current job. There's one guy who's been a horse's ass on a daily basis, but I see where the last couple days he's trying to straighten it up a little bit. So that's always a plus. I go to church this morning. Church should be the place where it's safe. You're a Christian. People should be happy to see each other. I'm not a fan of the South. People tell me, sell your house and move. Hold the thought. Because no matter where I go, wherever I go, there I am. If people aren't into me down here, they're probably not going to be into me in Ohio or Indiana or Botswana or anywhere. I mean, if I had my choice, if I had the money, I'd say to hell with it. I'd buy a house somewhere in the U.S. where it's my go-to place, and it wouldn't be in a city. It'd be my refuge, and I'd go overseas and enjoy the Philippines or Thailand and hang out for 6 months. Because I could date a beautiful woman over there without all the headache. Not this stuff. I could date a woman in Thailand. I could date a woman in the Philippines. Naturally beautiful. Naturally pretty. And not wearing all this caca. They'll fix me a good dinner. They'll give me a back massage. They'll come up behind me and put their hands on my shoulders and love on me. Who wouldn't want that? And I want to be careful with what I say, because we're all broken, and I am too. But I met a lot of women on my channel, a lot, and I care about them. Some of them have shown an interest, but it petered out. A lot of them have a cargo ship hold full of baggage that would be off-putting for the two of us trying to have a relationship. The smoking and the drinking and the drugs and the addiction and the behaviors and the scars and the damage of drug use and drug abuse and and now when they get up closer to my age, well, their looks aren't what they were when they were in their 20s because of the choices they made. It hits me that there is nowhere for me to go except to God. I go to church this morning, and the pastor and his wife are interesting. She's a short woman. She's got a very strange sense of humor, but it's funny. And there's no flirting or any of that. After Sunday school, she's standing at the back of the church, hand out the bulletin. She goes, you want a bulletin or attendance card? I said, I'm good. She goes, you don't even want a bulletin? I said, I read it every Sunday. It says the same thing. Michael, what was Pastor just talking about in Sunday school? I said, pride. She says, don't you think you're showing pride? I said, ma'am, I don't want to waste a bulletin. There's nothing in there for me to read. It tells about the service. It tells about the upcoming stuff in the church. And I was giving her a hard time. I told her a couple cute, clean jokes. Not to this curmudgeon guy. And I said it to her and she started laughing. Stick to your day job, Mike. Stick to your day job. And he wasn't laughing. I said, you know what, dude? The jokes were kind of funny. Like I said, stick to your day job. Ooh. everything in me wanted to go, you know what, pal? I'm going to say something. And Pastor in his message at church today was talking about, are we really changed by God? I thought, heck no. I know I'm not in every way, but some of these people in here, you want to make the church grow? And when I walked out today, he got up out of his pew. He'll normally open the door. All right, Mike. If he'd have said anything to me on the way out, I was going to say, whatever, dude. And I would have walked. Now, you are a curmudgeon ass. You and your wife are having problems, and then you come over and start putting me down. I'm not even talking to you. I'm talking to her and others. And others laugh. Pastor thought the one was funny. Why do people do that in our society? Why do they just, without any reason, any provocation, they just got to put you down? I had a talk with my supervisor on Friday, and he told me something very interesting. He said, what I want you to do is, that guy you don't like, I want you to make him benefit you. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, he said he's a DICK. He's an ass. And I know that. But he said, you can benefit from him when you're trying to find stuff. I said, oh, I know that. I tapped into him the other day, and he was actually polite. He said, Michael, you work harder than me. And I've never met a man work as hard as you. He said, that's intimidating to people down here. I said, really? He goes, Mike, you learn things quicker. You get it. You know what they're going to say. I've watched you. You process things faster, and that intimidates these people. I said, what am I supposed to do? He said, absolutely nothing. I wish I could get my whole workforce to be like you. And it hit me. Is that why I get so much put down? Most men in America think they're all out on a stick too. Why do so many of them make their rude comments on my channel? Because you're not just like them. And they don't like that. I'm going to tell you something, folks. And it's not going to go over well in us flag-waving American culture. America has probably got the highest rate of dysfunctional people of any country in the world. I'm fully convinced of that. We're not as intellectual as we claim. Not at all. I think most men don't know how to interact with other men outside of football, a gun rack, and a beer can, or a twuck. To have an intimate friendship with a man is conceived as faggotry. What really is weird is when you have married women that want to be friends with men that aren't their husband, and then you have single women that have no interest in us that are available. They're going after married men, and our culture is a mess. And I go to church and I get a curmudgeon clown who doctrinally dots his I's and crosses his T's, and he's an ass. Whole. And I thought, you know what? Michael's got to change. I got to stop taking this. Next time he says something, I'll say, you know, last Sunday, I didn't appreciate that. How about if you and I just don't talk to each other? Because you know what? I'm really not liking it here. The only reason I come to this church is because Pastor. But there's a lot of unfriendly, sour people in here. I'm talking to the pastor's wife, and teen after teen walks between us. The girls that are going there, you know, push-up bras, and they walk right in there as tall as me. Don't say, excuse me, and the one gives me this look. What is with the, and I watch the adults, hi ladies, sucking up. And this is why our teens turn into princess that right there. Because we enable them. If I was the pastor, I'd say, ladies, did you see Michael and my wife talking? Did you even say, excuse me? That's rude. Really rude. You know, and I was saying something about the work ethic, and you go into the store and people are rude, and some butthole came onto the channel and said, well, aren't you an entitled blah, 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 blah? I'm entitled because I'm paying money in a store and I expect people to be polite and kind, to actually be professional. You know, it's funny, I rode on a special education bus here in Richmond County for 2 years. Working with special ed kids as well as behavioral. Kids who were kicked off the regular bus and they're riding a sped bus because they can't maintain themselves. And these kids are bigger than me, twice my size. If they wanted to get up and get violent, I'd probably be dead. And I found a way to relate and to interact with them positively, and they look forward to riding a bus because I was there. When you have black mothers that wanted to sue the school district, sue the teacher, sue the bus driver, meet me, and saw the difference with how I conducted things. I had a black woman that people said, you got to watch her. She comes after every one of us. Even one of the woman who had an adult son, she got into it with the mother. And the mother said, are you going to be on this bus? I said, I'm assigned to this bus because of your son. Good. I am really glad. Finally, somebody who's competent and understands. You know my son and you're good with him. I said, yes, ma'am. I do my job well wherever I go. And I'm going to tell you, I suffer every day. Augusta, I was talking to E-Rock. He lived in upstate New York. I'm thinking upstate, up by the St. Lawrence River. That thing is huge up there, by the way. There's ships that go up and down there to the Atlantic. He sent me a video on a windy day with waves on the river. The Empress of Ireland sank on that in 1914. An ocean liner got rammed by a Norwegian ship in a fog. Huge amount of life lost. A large percentage of people on that boat were from the Salvation Army band. The wreck is still in the bottom of the river. He tells me all of the drug addicts, all of the behavior in that small little towns up there and how dark it is. And it hits me. It doesn't matter if you're in the big city, the inner city. You go to these small towns, you got white boys wait for you to go to work. They'll break and smash and grab everything in your house in these little, tiny, quaint towns. This country is a mess. And you got women out there that think they're too good for us. We're not worthy of them. We don't make enough money or whatever crap flavor they're going through. And you know what's sad? If people get on my channel and see me wearing a woman's article of clothing and they have no understanding of what I've been through. They have no understanding of the hell I went through with my mother, with women. My sister's a dress barn woman. She's 6 years older than me. She had favor because she was blood born. I was adopted. And Pastor today talked about John was close to Jesus, always reclining up against him. Can I say something? I'm not that way with Jesus. I always associate some of that with homosexual. And I know that Jesus and John were not that way. But even I realized in the disciples, they all had different levels, personally, of their relationship with Christ. John was a man who was really in tune with Christ, and Pastor said something. See if I can find it. Did I write that down or not? These are my own notes, but I was jotting in church, and I did this for the purpose of this video. John leaned against Jesus. Are we close to him? Can I be honest? Most of us are not. Most of us are Christians that are Christians. Our upbringing has a lot to do with that. Oh yeah, we can quote scripture. We can quote it all day long. For you are a new creation. Old things have passed away, all things have become new. What does that look like? I still bear the scars. Jesus does too. He died on the cross. He held out his arms to doubting Thomas, said, look, check it. Sometimes things are said in Christian contexts that aren't quite accurate. Then I wrote several notes. I said the South is dysfunctional, always was and always will be. I lived in a place long enough to talk about it. I've done it with Colorado. I've done it with Minnesota, Florida, here. The South is probably more dysfunctional than any of the rest of the country. Its involvement in the slavery, some of the redneck, a large percentage of the redneck culture down here is dangerous. And you don't want to mess with that. I don't like rednecks. I'm not a fan of them. They're violent. They hide behind their weapons, and you know they're always about fighting and tough talking, and their marriages end up in a trash can real fast. But yet women in the South are attracted to asshole men. Again and again and again, both for the black community and the white community. Women gravitate towards butthole men. I don't understand that. Then women will complain. Oh, he cheated on me. What'd you think he was going to do? He was a butthole when you met him. You think he's going to become a cleaner butthole? He still stinks like a butthole because he's a butthole. Comment was made. I turned around to that curmudgeon guy because pastor's wife made a comment, something about, and that's a Yankee thing. I said, you called me a Yankee? And she goes, well, you lived in Minnesota. And I said, yeah, there's some things better up there. And that curmudgeon man kept making his comment, stick to your day job. I almost turned around and said, stick to yours, you old crab. You have no relevance to me or anybody else. And I promise you, if he says something sideways to me, I'm going to say, very politely, respecting that he's 10 years older than me, say, you know, you were offensive to me last week. Not sure what your intention was, but I've always been nice to you. I wasn't talking to you when I told you those jokes, and you kept saying, stick to your day job, I didn't appreciate that. And I was going to tell him, you know, I'm about a threat's width of leaving this church because you guys want to grow this church and you're surrounded in a black neighborhood. You think these blacks are going to come and go to this church when it's lily white and you guys are curmudgeon and you don't change your ways? These teenagers can't say, excuse me. People can't even say hi to each other. How in the hell do you think you're going to reach the black community, let alone anybody else? I know I got my faults, you two people, and all you little trolls from now on. I made a decision in church. From now on, some butthole gets on my channel and makes some nasty comment, they're on hide. I'm not going to negotiate anymore. Pastor talked about causing strife. And that's what is on the other side of this. Pride causes strife. He said, argumentative people breed it. You see them, they come on my channel, trying to analyze me. Don't you think that you're dysfunctional? No, I'm not. Well, you are. Block. Argumentative, pride. They're going to tell me what's wrong with me when I'm admitting on here what's wrong with me. How many YouTube people do that? How many YouTube people get on here, and I will put my money where my mouth is. How many people get on YouTube and go bald transparent like I do? I haven't met a one. To date. I was a pioneer in 2011, and I continue to be a pioneer. Nobody's in competition with me, and I'm not in competition with anybody else. Because one thing about the Christian life that hasn't been caught, okay, we teach a lot, but what is caught is what is learned. What ends up in the net of a person's brain is what grabs somebody. And we can go wah, 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 wah in church. We can go wah, 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 wah on YouTube. But what is caught? And I have testimony of people on this channel that come to me saying, you caused me to want to get into the Bible. Good. I'm glad to hear that. You caused me to want to check this out. You caused my wife and I to go to church. I was about to commit suicide until I stumbled on your channel and you gave me hope. There we go. Forget the money. Forget going viral. If all I've done is help some people not end their life or try to get closer to God and go to church, then my life is accomplishing way more than these clowns making money hand over fist being clowns on the internet. And yes, I'm going to judge this style of dress. And yes, I'm going to judge this because I've been judged. And that taught me it's okay for me to fire back. Absolutely. Absolutely. I grew up with women like that. That dress looks like somebody took a bed sheet and took two pillowcases and slapped them onto the sides. That's beautiful. You look at people, there's a woman at the flea market, she's Hindi, she's got the red dot. She's dressed very colorful, and she's always, I don't buy anything from her, but she always looks at me. Always, hello, how are you? She talks, she's got her husband. She is nice to me. Why is it a Hindu woman in the flea market is nicer to me than the white women are here? What's up with that? Tell me if you know. Why is it a Native American with high, strong cheekbones? I love you, Michael. She'll kiss me right on the cheek. You give me a hug, and she got her cigarette in one hand. I hate cigarettes. She's the one that's giving me all those beaded necklaces. I love your free spirit. I love your style. Why are white women so nasty to me? What have I done to them? But look at that. Look at that. I mean, you can tell. I mean, if you look at her legs and what's under that dress, her skeletal doesn't look right. Did you see that frame? What is that? Is that an electrical line going up in there? Is that an electric blanket, electrical nodes? But that's kind of one that'll look down her nose at me. I've seen it. I've experienced it. Look at that dress. A 4-year-old could have done better than that. And what's this right here? A built-in bib? I'm glad God made me the way I am. And I know that I'm a fish swimming upstream. And it's a hard swim. And I know one day when I get to the top of it, I'm going to die. I know that. My journey has not been easy. When that man was rude to me, it reminded me of 1 Corinthians 11. And I struggle with this, folks. And I'm not afraid to admit this on here. I know that there's mockers and scoffers, and they are of Satan. They are. That goes for all these trolls. First Corinthians 12, excuse me. For the body is not one member, but many. Let me back up to 13. For by one Spirit we are all baptized into one body, whether Jews or Greeks, whether slave or free, we are all made to drink of one Spirit. For the body is not one member, but many. If the foot should say, because I'm not a hand, I'm not a part of the body, it is not for this reason any the less part of the body. And if the ear should say, because I am not an eye, I am not a part of the body, it is not for this reason any the less a part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the hearing be? If the whole were hearing, where would the sense of smell be? But now God has placed the members, each one of them, in the body just as he desired. Do you know what that tells me? Is that even in America, even among white Christians, if you're not just like them, you're not quite biblical. I'm not talking about theological understanding. I'm talking about this, my style, my way. And this South down here still got a lot of prejudice. They don't like the North. They look down on Northerners. I'm from California, and the entire nation looks down on California. But I grew up in a California that wasn't like it is today. I left in 1983 when California was still good. And what bothers me is the gall of people in the South to have hatred towards the North. Why do they hate the North? Well, the Civil War. They got butts handed to them on a platter, as they should have. They wanted to keep slaves. They were abusing the slaves. They were damaging the slaves. And the North fought for many reasons. That was one of them. And the slaves got emancipated, but the South didn't learn. They continued to treat them as not even citizens. Colored bathrooms only, white bathrooms only. And the South still has vestiges of that to this day. Ignorance, stupidity, still fighting the Civil War in their mind, and that goes for blacks. Blacks still believing that all the whites owe them something and are racist. Not all blacks, but a lion's share of African Americans in the U.S. vote Democrat and still on the plantation of leftist thinking. And I can't even get a date with an attractive, slender black woman because they're all Democrats down here. And that ain't going to work. I dated a Democrat black woman in Colorado, and we had a lot of bickering over that. And I tried to not bring it up, and she brought it up in my truck, on the phone, at her apartment. I said, man, I don't even want to talk about this with you. I ain't going to change you, and you ain't going to change me. And yet you want to date, yeah, because I like you. I said, you move into my house. We're not getting cable, and I'm not going to have CNN in there. You would really do that? I said, you darn right. I don't want to listen to that in my house. And this, that is not no 10. And that woman wouldn't date me. Why? Because she's programmed. She's programmed with a mindset. She thinks that dress is cute on her. It ain't. It looks hideous on her. It is hideous. A bed sheet with two pillow sleeves connected to make arms. That there shouts, I have no passion, no uniqueness, no individuality at all. I am walking lockstep with all of the boring Caucasian females like the CCP. So I don't care what these people think of me. It bothered me. It still bothers me because I'm human. But I started to realize that my intellect is expanding as the years go by, and I'm starting to realize you don't walk the way these people walk. Of course they're not going to like you. And they're going to look at you like you're the strange duck. When in fact, you are like a prophet. I'm not a prophet. You are like a prophet. They look at you the way they looked at the prophets. That dude is weird. He may be weird, but he's telling the truth. And you're not receiving it. Yeah, that one. I love it when people get on my channel and say, this guy's delusional. Do the people writing that even know what that means? Probably not. I am not as close to God as I want to be. And I'm hindered by my own self. I'm hindered by what I've been through. I'm hindered by the abusive mother and the dad I have. I struggle with believing that God actually loves Michael, me. Why would he love me? Nobody else does. Nobody else ever has. They say they have, but you see the actions, and the actions tell me different. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. What is love? 1 Corinthians 13. I haven't experienced that. Because you know what I see in America? I see exploitation. Guys that are nice to me probably means they're gay. Not all, but they got some design on the sexual part. Women that are nice to me, oh, they want a favor. I've been trained by our society. And then you go to church, and you got women that wear stuff like that. In fact, the husband's wife dresses like that. Big old ugly dress with the big overcoat, long, almost dragging on the ground dress barn stuff. She's fake, she's plastic. And these people look down their nose at me. Even pastor said, well, you have to understand when you came in here, they're looking at you different because you got a longer chain around your neck. I said, pastor, it's a necklace. And I've always been polite. I would never disrespect my pastor, but he believes long hair is a sin. And he did show me in scripture. It talks about women covering or uncovering their heads and all this stuff. But I'm like, wait a minute. So in the New Testament, all of a sudden it's sin to have long hair, but yet Samson, Nazarite vow, you did not cut your hair. So what gives? And I already told you this morning, I've always felt the guilt because my mind has never been sexually pure. Because you know what? There's a city in America called Philadelphia, which is off the word phileo. Phileo is brotherly love. Philadelphia means the city of brotherly love. And it wasn't too many years ago that said Philadelphia is more the city of brotherly shove. We in America, do we know what love is? Parents buy all these toys and spoil their kids. We love you. Spoiling is not love. Spoiling is bad love. I don't know what love is. My mother said, every card, every birthday card, lots of love, mom and dad. That's it. Same thing every time. She should have just got one of those stamps. Lots of love, mom and dad. Lots of love, mom and dad. Lots of love. Is that why you came to my room and smashed everything and yelled at me for no reason and made me clean it up? And that night, it was Christmas Eve, and relatives, hi, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Yeah, my mom was like that right there. Abusive as hell, and when company came, put it on the dog. Am I damaged because of that? Irreparably damaged? Probably. Do I look at every woman that they're my mother? No, I don't. Viewers, there are times when even now, I just think, you know, God, I'm ready to go home. I'm not suicidal, but if God told me I had 6 months, I'd be like, yes, I'm finally out of here. Out of this world. I want it. Not because I'm going to get A+, 4.0 on my report card with God, but whatever, wherever the chips fall, I'm going to be there. And he's going to wipe the tears from my eyes, and I'm going to be in his presence. Praise his name. And there will be no more curmudgeon and rudeness and hatefulness and nasty, rude-acting teens and women and people and bad drivers. All that is gone forever. No more taxes. No more bills. No more being cold. No more being hot. No more sweating. The only love that I know well is Eros. That's the sexual, the erotic love. And we have to look at every Christian out there. We're all at different stages. Even the dress barn women, and they're the worst ones. Because they have a complete lack of self-awareness. Because they all surround themselves with people just like them. Oh, you have such a cute outfit. Blech. And they keep that crap alive. They got girlfriends that are never going to tell them that they're awful to people. They don't surround themselves with people to tell the truth. Our own pastor, I wrote it. Pastor does not seem to talk to the sins of his own flock. He didn't talk to the rudeness of these teenagers. He didn't talk to the coldness of his people. If Pastor ever told me, you want to preach, I'd be scared to death to stand up in that little congregation and preach to them, because I think before I'm done, I think they'd all get up and walk out. We're not listening to this guy at all. I look young, I'm different. Why did God put me in this world, this Christian world, in church, anywhere, in the Christian community, to feel constant rejection and ostracization? Why am I so different? I like Gen X. That's what I am. Pastor said there was a survey done where many pastors said that they feel that 90% of churchgoers are not saved. I agree with that. But I would say that most people that go to a Baptist church are saved because they couldn't sit in there if they weren't. But the teenagers, you got 4 of them are homeschooled by the choir director and his wife. And yet there's no manners at all. Not, excuse me, not. They'll never look me in the eye. Or anybody. I even mentioned that to Pastor. He goes, oh, they do that to me too. Man, why don't you confront that? Y'all talk about, are we, deeper in God? Confront the attitudes in here. That's your job as a pastor. I've done it on my chat. Why won't he confront the dress barn girls and their attitudes? And the teens. See, we start young in this culture. We treat the girls as if though they can do no wrong, and that's our little princess. No, she ain't. Keep calling her princess, you're going to raise a narcissist. An entitled little... That's what you're doing. How is it that even Christian folks always got to put me down and I didn't even do anything wrong? Maybe the same thing my supervisor told me. I'm telling you, if he said anything, I walked out that back door, I was going to say, whatever, dude. You need to learn how to be kind, because you're not. And if he'd have mouthed off and said, let me tell you something. I've been hanging on to come here because this group of people here, most of y'all are not friendly, and then you're making digs at me. You know, I'm here to hear the word of God. And that's the only reason I'm here. And I'm going to tell you, don't talk to me. Because people like you are the reason this church is not going to grow. It's not happening. You're a rusty freighter. You're tied up at the dock. You're rusting. They'll never fire the engines up. You're done. And you chose to do that. I'm old, but my ship is still running, full steam. And I pray that God keeps me running. I don't want to be around these old curmudgeon, well, I've got this in Plowites. And they look down on everybody that isn't just like their miserable ass selves. So tired of that. In a Baptist church, I've told people, you want sound doctrine, go to a Baptist church. If you want love and warmth, do not go to the Baptist church. You're not going to find it in there. There's a lot of self-righteousness in a Baptist church. There's a lot of judgmentalism. And I saw something that happened. There's a woman, she's married. She's got a couple kids. Those kids are a handful. She's pretty. She dresses in a dress. She does say hi to me sometimes. Her husband won't come to church. Can you blame him? She was sitting in church, and another guy who can be very offensive, they call him KFC because he looked like a miniature Colonel Sanders with the whole goatee and everything. He yells out, Cindy, you're one in the nursery. Me? Yeah, you. Your child. And pastor says, get up, go take care of your child. Kind of roughly. Like, you know what? This Southern culture down here is pretty shitty. I looked at her, she walked out of the room and saw this dejection in her. I said, and you want people to come here every time the church doors are open? Why? And people get mad at me. You talk about this. Yeah, I do. And if you got a problem, get off my channel. I do talk about it because it needs to be talked about. It's a real problem in America. I look in the mirror and I know I'm different. Where's the love and care of Christians in the church? Stick to your day job, Mike. Stick to yours. Your title must be company ass. And I said, next time that happens, never yell, but say, you know what? That was rude. I don't appreciate that. Don't give an explanation and say that was rude. I don't appreciate that. Well, I don't care what you... I know you don't care what I think, and this is why this church doesn't grow, because people like you aren't conducive to making this church grow. Don't talk to me, okay? I'm here to hear pastor, not you and your infected attitude. Go work on your relationship with you and your wife. Don't talk to me. What a jerk. I didn't even do anything. And that's the way it is. Hebrews says that we can boldly enter the throne of grace. And that's what made me calm down. I said, I'm going to stay here not for anybody else, but because pastor's preaching the truth. And our pastor is not perfect, but you don't have a lot of truth preachers down here. I need to hear the truth so I can give it back to you. But I will say this. As I get older, as I watch what's happening to our society, I believe the church age is on the last act. I believe the sound of the trumpet is not far off. And no, I'm not going to set a date. because I can't, and we're not supposed to. And I will judge, and I will critique things, because the world's going to judge no matter what they say. They like to say, judge not. They're judging. They're judging every day. Some of the harm that's come to me throughout my life has been from behind me. That kind of stuff. They think they're all that. They think they're the official designator of what's well-adjusted and what's normal. If I was on an island and a plane went down, I hope to God that she's not the only other survivor. Because I would look her right in the eye with this chain around my neck and say, great, I got to take care of your sorry ass. What do you mean by that, girl? I know the way you were back in modern culture. You show any disrespect to me, you're on your own. You want to get it together and you want to live, then come on. And you got to get rid of that damn dress. That's got to go. We can use that for a blanket or something. A sheet in the palm frond hut. Good night. I tell you, I am analyzing myself every day. I do have problems. Absolutely. It just sucks when you go to church on Sunday and then you have that experience and you see all the coldness and the rudeness. And our culture's like that, isn't it? White culture's kind of shitty. It's not warm. It's not passionate. And it shows by this kind of clothing. It shows by the behavior in the church. It shows by teens. You know, I'm this far from the pastor's wife, and those two girls just walked through, and the one glares and goes, you want to say, I should have said, you want to say, excuse me, girls? No, we're talking here. I mean, do you have any self-awareness? That's why women are entitled. And that's why women dress so horribly, because they can do whatever they want. Nobody puts them in check. And men lie. A woman like that will say, honey, what do you think of my dress? Oh, you look beautiful. Men, stop lying to your wives. Say, honey, you're beautiful, but that looks like crap. Get rid of it. Good night. Somebody call the news stations and tell these women to learn how to dress. Because anybody who's reporting the news and looks like this, well, she needs to be fired. And I'm going to say something. Look at the face. She's got the foundation from forehead all the way down and then stuck some rouge up on top of the cheekbones. Gross. Absolutely gross. And white women wonder why I have a fascination with exotic women. Because they don't look like that, that's why. Their hair's natural. I love black-haired women. Real black hair. Blondes, no tanks. There's a mentality that comes with the whole blonde thing, and all these women dyeing their hair blonde. They're artificial, they're plastic. They say opposites attract, not with me. I've often thought it'd be fun to go to Mongolia or China, way up into deep country, away from modern, and to fall in love with a real native out there who is head and shoulders above narcissistic, entitled, iPhone gripping women. I would love to experience that. Now that'd be a woman. She can cook, she can clean, she can take care of her own hut, respects her husband. Wow, what a concept. That's what God intended all along, and we're not getting that today. Not at all. And I watch some of the bickering back and forth on my channel in the comments, and I appreciate that people are fleshing and working that out. That's why I didn't intervene. Some feedback from both sides is good. But I agree with some of the guys that said, man, you women always got to come back when we say anything about women. But you guys say a lot about us. And that's true. And my channel, I'm going to be real. And if it offends women, too bad. If it offends blacks, too bad. If it offends white males, too bad. If it offends Christians or people that voted for Trump or Democrats, I don't care. We all need correction, man. Every one of us. But I sure as hell am not going to take it from a 2-bit troll on my channel. Don't need to. Get out of mama's basement and get a damn job. And put your face pic on there and show yourself, little boy. You know, I'm so tired of all that. I'm not a prophet. Prophets didn't make money either. They didn't throw money at Elijah. God brought ravens, birds, to bring him his food. And he had Elijah go down and stay by a brook. Now that's awesome. I want to get close to God. I don't think I'm going to be leaning up against the bosom of Jesus. But I do recognize God's hand in my life. And I do talk about it. That woman, if you washed all the makeup off her and she stopped dyeing her hair and took that lousy outfit off, she'd be hot. I think every woman in America should be required to listen to at least a college semester of my videos. It'd be the best education they ever received in their life. Because they don't know as much as they claim. And I do think Western women are deficit. Very much so. I saw bullcrap in Asia. I did. Women have problems wherever you go, and so do men. And it all boils down to one thing: all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. In Hong Kong, in Augusta, in Tokyo, in Kiev, in Ukraine, at the space station, whatever. I want to know, and Pastor was kind of beating up the people to get more involved in church. And I want to raise my hand and say, can I come up and say something without being disrespectful? And I would face that congregation and say, we're not going to reach anybody until we reach ourselves. I come in here and some of you wouldn't even speak to me. And then when I get my, oh, it looks way better. I know you all don't care, but you got to look at things through my eyes. Dress barn clothing, obesity, laughing at stupid flaky stuff. Now we got a coffee shop in here. Oh my gosh. This is stupid. At least on my channel, whether what I'm doing is right or wrong with my dressing style, without forcing it at all, I show more passion than any of these chicks will. And men have been so conditioned in this boring, blasé dress barn society that most men are slobbering to get a date with makeup queen, Judge Janine. I thought she was pretty until I looked closer at her. My gosh, she's been through the manufacturing process of nips and tucks and makeup too. It's sad. Megyn Kelly. You're ripping on Bezos' wife, or Bezos' fiance. I'm sorry, but I thought Bezos' fiance was decent looking. At least she had her natural hair color. At least she had a body on her. And you dyed your hair fake blonde. And you used your broadcast to make fun of Bezos' wife and the way she was dressed. And you said nothing about, what's his name, from Pennsylvania, wearing a hoodie and gym shorts to the inauguration. My word. Megyn Kelly is overrated. All those wannabe blondes are overrated. Every single one of them. They wouldn't make a good wife. They wouldn't make a good date. And I promise you this, by the authority vested within me, they wouldn't give good sex. You're not going to make love with women like this. They don't know how to. They have sex. There's a big difference. Women like this do not make love. Women like this do not make love. Women like this do not make love. Do you know how I know that? Look at their hair. Look at their outfits. Look at all the makeup glopped on them. They're artificial. They're fake. They have no passion. How are they going to make love when they have no passion? They can't. Americans have sex. When I went overseas, I made love to women that I really was into. And I made love to quite a few of them, to be honest with you, because I lost my mind over there. I went after one girl. She had embodied this culture more than her own culture. Entitled, spoiled, had a middle school mentality, and she's 6 years older than me. So she's 65 now. She'll never get married. My ex-American wife is 65 now. She'll never get married. Never. She'll be 66 this year. No one's going to marry her. Washed up, beached whale. There is still a chance for me, though it's starting to dwindle more and more, especially when the old aging sets in. I'll be 60, and I still got it. I still got a voracious sex drive. I don't use Viagra, don't need it. I need something to get that thing down, not up, like a rocket between my legs. Sometimes I get tired of it. And I think it's cool. I want to ask God, why did you give me all this nuclear sexual capacity and I can't use it? This seems stupid. It's like putting a 350 in a Prius. Why? I thank you for listening. I'm not hating on these women, I'm just saying. And men are so simps, and they're so white-knighted, they would criticize me for just doing, Mike, those are beautiful women. I can't believe you're saying that. Well, believe it. They're not beautiful. They're fake. They're artificial. But yeah, you like to go to McDonald's, and you like stuff that can be squeezed out of a bag in a container, and soda pop and Takis, and and that's the kind of woman. You got a Taki woman. You got a 7-Up woman, a Slurpee girl. One woman on my channel said, I'm floppy and sloppy. And I'm like, just that whole image made me go, yuck, yuck. No thanks. No thanks. There's no class to this. There's nothing sexy about that, nothing sensual. And men know it too. Men know it too. There's a lot of men like me that are among the dateless. And it's not because they're a creep. It's not because there's something wrong with them. It's that women have shifted into a different gear and we're not on their radar and wouldn't be. If I was to inherit $10 million, it'd be amazing how many of these things would come out of the woodwork. And I would look them in the eye and say, honey, I don't buy Barbie dolls. I don't play with Barbie dolls. I'm going to go overseas and I'm going to date an exotic beauty that when she takes her clothes off and stretches herself on my body, that I'm lost in her love for the entire rest of the night. Whether it's under an African sky, a Nepalese sky, an India sky, a Thailand sky, but it ain't going to be you. because I don't want to smell and lick all that makeup on your face. I don't want to run my fingers through your fake dyed blonde hair that's all frizzed out and split ends and damaged. And that outfit is disgusting. There, I vented my spleen. Wasn't that awesome? Wasn't that awesome? Thank you for listening. I'm a Christian who struggles. If you have come to my channel expecting Christian perfection, you've come to the wrong place. If you come to my channel because you want somebody who's real and genuine and you get to see in front of your eyes the struggle between the flesh and the spirit, then you come to the right place. I don't care what this godless, silly, stupid, irrelevant world says about me. Their day is coming. The Bible says, I will not fear what man can do to me. I have feared what man can do to me. I'm human. But as I get older, I'm getting more rock steady and realizing Christ has a calling for me. Not women like that. She doesn't pay my bills. She doesn't remodel my house. She doesn't rub my back. She doesn't cook for me. Who cares what her and people like her think about me? Who cares? It has no value. Like a penny. No value. There's no worth to it. I'm becoming more aware that there's only one that matters. And it's God. And I thank God that he doesn't withhold his grace and blessing on my life because I'm imperfect as a Christian. I thank God that he continues to move in me. He gave me a good eval the other day. He gave me a job with all this crap going on at the other job. And God is still reminding me, I've got you, Michael. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Why do we try so hard to get that? She ain't God. She ain't going to stay with you the way God will. And man, I need help. I need help in my inner sanctum to get a hold of the love of God. Because I struggle with that. This is what's sad about our society. I've worked in places where there's a lot of women that look just like that. Black, white, Hispanic. That's not pretty, folks. Mike, that's your opinion. No, that's not pretty. And then you put on an outfit like that? Good night. And I've been judged by women like that. And in my spirit, I'm like, she judging me. Look at that body on her. Ah! You're looking down your nose at me? I've got physique. I've got energy. I got drive. I got a brain that far outpowers yours. No thanks. And that crowd, they got men that want to hump that. That blows me away. Men that want to hump that. Okay, then. This who pulled the print off the sofa and stuck it around her waist? Or that looks like the Lazy Boy recliner from American Furniture Warehouse in Colorado. Who pulled the floor or the print off of the chair? You gotta be kidding me. She looks like a recliner chair. There are pretty women on my channel that are American women. There's a few that I've talked to I wouldn't mind getting to know and dating, but I don't doubt that'll ever happen. Distance, lifestyles, whatever. I see the need for somebody in my life. Tina was just a friend. Her presence here was it was blessing. It's not good for man to be alone. I see it within myself. When you live alone, you have a bit of neurosis. When men are alone too long, they get a little bit neurotic. We need somebody. And women too. Women that are alone for years, they get weird. They become Karens. They become strange. When you're strange, people remember your name. When you're strange, when you're strange. Women seem wicked. They are. People think I hate women. Wow, you're always talking bad about women. I talk bad about everybody, including myself, so sit down, pull up a chair and learn something. I tell stories, I make funnies, and we have fun. I talk about everything. That's why there's women and men here, because this isn't a normal channel. It never was intended to be. I marvel that I can't make money on it. But it's not going to stop me from broadcasting. It's a gift God has given me. I think I'm going to have some juice and work on a Titanic puzzle. Thank you for listening, people. And please, women, for whatever it's worth, for whatever it is worth, could you please stop doing that? And that? And definitely do not do that. Wow. That's crazy. And this is why we men struggle. Or at least I do. You go to church, you're not even talking to somebody and they're being rude. The women in there think they're all that on a stick, but their husbands won't come to church with them because they're not all that on a stick. They're irritating. Their dress barn clothing's irritating. And our church is stuck, just like iHeartRadio. Same track music, same people get up and sing Sunday after Sunday. I don't even look anymore. When they start singing in the choir, the special music people, and they got the track music with that same old 80s thing, and I'm not talking good 80s music. It's just crappy. I just start reading my Bible. I'm just sitting there quietly in the pew going, man, I can't even get anything out of worship. I read the word and see if I can come up with something for my next message online. Maybe I'll go watch Pig's channel. I actually get some satisfaction out of that. That guy is weird, and yet he's funny. There's mental something going on there, and yet it's hysterically funny, even though it's so stupid. The ice cream guy. I have nothing against him, but I can't help watch that and go, this is absolutely freaking funny. And he's got 125,000 subs. I tell the truth, I be real, and they are slamming me on here with the troll hatred. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thanks for listening, people. I do appreciate my fans. I do. And I appreciate people that give me the feedback that you give me. I try to read those comments. I may not always respond. I'll put a heart and a like, but I can't respond to every one of them. It'd be a full-time job. But I thank you, and I do read them. I pray personally that God's coming will be before I get too old and I can't do it anymore, meaning take care of me. I have a strong sense of pride. God has given me a hellacious energy, and I don't want to come to the point where I can't take care of myself anymore, because I don't trust society or a nursing home or people today in the way they're wired to do it. I have said, God, I know you're the Lord, but do not let me be at the hands of other people. If things get that bad, then you put me to sleep in my bed or you take me out of here. That much is all I ask for. That's it. Don't let me be stuck in a nursing home or under the authority of the state, decomposing in a bed. Mike, time to get up. I need to change your diaper. Shit. I don't want that. I want to be a strong ship to the end. Even if it sails into the reef, at least everything was still working. Folks, be kind. Be passionate. Be you. Challenge your own self to come out of your funk. Read the Bible. Don't act like everybody else in the dang church, on the roads. Be different. Show it. Walk it. We're not perfect. We sin. We make mistakes. But own it. Own it. For the love of God, own it, women, when you make a mistake. Own it when you're rude. Own it when you're a bitch. Admit it. Nobody expects perfection here, but my gosh, it'd be nice if you at least acknowledged you weren't very nice. I know women ain't perfect. People think, oh, Mike wants somebody who's perfect. Really? You obviously haven't paid attention to my videos. I'd take that girl if she was a Christian. I'd take her, she got rid of all that makeup and that stupid dress, and she was down to earth and loved the hell out of me. That ain't gonna happen. This here. Now, she does have a nice smile and nice eyes. I'm going to say something positive. The clothing sucks. The clothing is unbecoming for her. She's a bigger woman, and that doesn't help her. That doesn't help her. That does not accentuate the positive. That's negative. The smile and the eyes are cute. I could fall for the eyes and the smile. That's about it. Nothing else. This one here, I'm not sure what to think there. You can tell the boobs are shoved up, which tells me there's a lot of sagging going on. The orange traffic cone shirt, that's a no-go. I can tell by looking at her that's not a real hair. Smile looks a slight bit on the contrived. These women here, they need to be committed to a mental health facility. This one needs to go to class on learning how to dress and color coordinate. Because that right there, that's just horribly atrocious. Stop dyeing the hair, women. Stop being wannabe blondes. It's childish. It's plastic. You're in middle school. Accept your color. Oh my gosh. I like a woman who's got her natural hair color. You know, dyeing destroys your hair, ladies. It frizzes it and ruins it. Leave it alone. Wash it with some good nutrient-rich shampoo and some conditioner so I can run my fingers through it and smell it. Stop dyeing it and destroying it. My gosh. This one should work at a construction site. She's got a nice frame on her. This here, Looks like them cupcakes we had as a kid. The white frosting and those artificial color flavor sprinkles, they weren't that good. They're a dime a dozen. This is a Pillsbury cookie in the frozen section. Chop, chop, chop. We got a cargo shipload of those, all in the media. Sad. This one looks like somebody who created the show Barney. We all need to learn to get along, kids. That's what that reminds me of. She looks like she could walk right onto the set, Barney, and be the classroom teacher. Anybody caught wearing this needs to be sent to jail. Anything LL Bean is not the kind of a woman I even want to look at or date. I was married to one. Target, Christopher and Banks, Ross. Yeah. I don't care what these women think of me. I cared too much all my life, and where did that get me? Nowhere. So now it's my turn to sit in the driver's seat. Whoever wears this, please turn her to the Hollywood acting department and say, that'll be a stand-in for world's worst dressed actresses. That does not flatter her at all. She's already big. She's got them lunch lady arms that are not lean and defined. And then you wear that. When I see that, I think that woman's got an attitude. She thinks she's hot. Shh. And I'm looking at that going, no, 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 no. This here should be a criminal offense. She's already overweight. It looks like somebody ripped the drapery off a New York City apartment and a sports bra and sewed them together. Yeah. Great outfit. Just beautiful outfit. And did you notice the sleeves are waiting for a flood? Did you see that? I mean, capri sleeves. Capri sleeves. Who came up with that? Who came up with a fashion like that? And then she's got the fake gold chain necklace. You ever notice obese women wear all that gaudy, look at the bracelet. All that gaudy, cheap, pimpy jewelry. Nothing is helping her right there. Nothing is helping her. Not a damn thing. That just underscores how bad she looks. I know some women are hearing me going, man, this guy is mean. No, I'm not. That's the truth. I look better in my clothing than that. I mean, that's ghastly. Ghastly. This, you already got weight against you. Then you're going to wear stripes and something that is tight in the wrong areas. I'm not attracted to that. Never would be. Never would be. But there's clothing she could wear that would look much better on her than that. Much better. She got to get that white crap out of her hair. That just looks... I mean, you can just tell everything about her says, I don't care. I'm overweight. I dyed the ends of my hair white. I'm sorry, she looks like caca. Caca. I wouldn't hire that at any company I own. I'd look at that and go, no. And people say, oh, you'd hire all the hot women. No, I wouldn't. But that speaks volumes about her. She doesn't have discipline. You can tell by that. There's no discipline to her. There's no class to her. There's no passion, no care. It's I'm gonna be who I am. People don't like it. That's too bad. She's one of those. And she thinks she's cute because some men popped her cherry and thought, wow, you know, she thinks she's all out on a stick. Just saying. Just saying. I've been judged by these kind of people. So, yeah, that's what happens. This is the silhouette that the lady took of herself that I haven't seen her in a while. Her shadow on the wall. I said, I love your silhouette picture. She goes, thank you, I took it myself. Now that's cute. I have no idea she's black, white, Asian. But what a cute silhouette. Just on a silhouette alone, that is pretty. Looks like a lady. That actually looks like a lady. Wish I could see that in real life. And anybody who dresses like this, well, you better pray for that dude. Goodbye, folks. I hope you enjoyed my little tour of American women and their fashion. And and that just hunky-dory. That needs to be a bobblehead you can put on your dash and you can have Ocean going, yep, I agree with you. Mm-hmm. Yep, you're right. Mm-hmm. Every time you hit a bump, it agrees with you. Wouldn't that be fun? All right, folks, we're out of here. Y'all have a good day. Be safe.